Winston Peters is a joke. A pathetic, embarrassing joke. Driven by a desperate desire for power and attention, Winston Peters will say and do whatever he must to fulfill his desires. Winston Peters wants to import a mindless culture war. Winston Peters wants to infect New Zealand with the rot that has destroyed American politics. The divisive, unintelligent, and amoral form of politics that has consumed the USA. He seeks to make racial issues a centre point of New Zealand's politics. He seeks to encourage and exploit division for his own gain. He seeks to virtue signal to racist idiots. He seeks to import the mindless anti-transgender culture war from overseas, all in a desperate bid to secure popular support and the political power that it provides. The goal of such a culture war is to distract from real issues. This is very important for New Zealand First. The culture war is a desperate attempt to compensate for New Zealand First's utter lack of decent policies. Without a culture war, it is almost impossible for an intellectually and morally bankrupt political party to secure power. New Zealand First exemplifies lowest common denominator politics. Simplistic, misleading, and hyperbolic rhetoric designed to anger as many people as possible. An attempt at encouraging and exploiting division for one's own gain. Winston Peters has taken a liking to throwing around terms such as apartheid and segregation to describe co-governance and university safe spaces. Such rhetoric amounts to downplaying apartheid and segregation by comparing it to relatively minor issues. Winston compares Labour Party policy to Nazi Germany. Such rhetoric downplays the evil of Nazism by comparing it to something that is nowhere near as evil. Criticize co-governance and safe spaces all you like, but do not partake in ridiculous comparisons that downplay extremely evil historical policies. Winston Peters can be charming, charismatic even, but we must see past the charisma and see this man for the embarrassing disgrace that he is. Winston Peters offers nothing productive to the discourse. His contributions to the discourse on Waitangi Day amounted to needlessly antagonising Maori with condescending lectures and pathetic right-wing virtue signalling. Winston Peters is a right-wing hack who is only capable of virtue signalling. Just look at his central policies, changing government department names back to English and conducting a COVID inquiry. These are pathetic virtue signals that are utterly devoid of substance. Imagine having huge negotiation leverage and squandering it all on meaningless virtue signalling. Winston's policy proposals are a joke, a hideous abomination pulling the worst ideas from both National and Labour. A desperate, intellectually bankrupt bid for power. According to Winston Peters, the recent SailGP cancellation damaged New Zealand's international standing. What is far more damaging for New Zealand's international standing is a deranged Deputy Prime Minister who regularly makes international headlines for his odious comments. New Zealand First is a populist political party. New Zealand First stands up for the people and fights against the elite. This is what they will tell you. The reality is that New Zealand First is funded by an economic elite. New Zealand First does not stand up against the elite. New Zealand First is brought and paid for by the elite. Shane Jones, the Minister of Fisheries, has taken significant donations from the fishing industry. Winston Peters has a questionable past with the racing industry. New Zealand First has received massive big money donations. New Zealand First is not against the elite. New Zealand First is funded by the elite. New Zealand First consider themselves nationalists. In truth, they are nothing more than a national disgrace. And as for Shane Jones, a fisheries minister who has taken money from the fisheries industry, A disgusting, corrupt idiot who should be sacked immediately. I encourage New Zealand First to enjoy the next 3 years, because in 3 years they will be out of Parliament again.